guys, it's Phantom, and welcome back, or welcome to another episode of the AskPhantomPodcast. Oh, by the way, if you guys are listening to the podcast on Good Pods, please ignore the extra episode. Please ignore the extra episode because one episode I uploaded and I forgot to put the audio. And Good Pods is very different from all the other apps that I use. It's fine if you don't listen to it on there. I'm still getting used to it. But, yeah, good morning, guys. It is 10 in the morning right now when I am filming this episode, and we are on episode 18. I'm just giving you a little bit of a warning if you're listening on Good Pods that there is an extra episode number 15 that doesn't have audio, which needs to be removed as soon as possible. I really hope they do that. If not, it's fine. So, yeah. As I said, we are still on the topic of online school. So, in this episode, we are going to be talking about different types of online school. So, okay, there's a bunch of different online schools, as I've said before. There's charter schools, there's public and private schools, there's schools that are flexible, that are extremely flexible. There are schools that don't have deadlines. Hold on, I'm gonna go to Google Chrome and look up online schools, the different types of online schools. So, okay, there's a bunch of online schools, I believe. There's this one school that I looked. No, not. Okay. So, there's schools okay, hold on. Let me let me turn on window capture. Sorry, I was filming a video, which was why it was set to Sims 4. Hopefully I don't have to do that anymore, because hopefully game capture will work. I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work on my computer for some reason. Or, not my computer. It doesn't seem to work on this OBS for some very odd reason that I don't understand. So I have to use window capture for everything, but hopefully soon I won't have to do that. So, we're looking at a bunch of different online schools. There's schools like Acellus. There's a school based in Georgia. It's not Connections Academy because Connections is based in California, I think. If I'm right. But there's a online school that is based in Georgia, I believe, that is extremely flexible. It doesn't have deadlines. James Madison. So, as I said, there's a bunch of different reasons. Okay, so let me just give you a little bit of a recap. Let me just give you a little bit of a recap with online school. With online schooling. Like, for example, does remote learning count as online school? Not necessarily. For any of you guys wondering, it doesn't necessarily count as online school. It is a alternative, because of everything happening right now, to where you can't set foot in a classroom. So so people have asked. So people have asked, so there's a school called James Madison High School. If you guys are wondering, I am not in high school anymore. So basically, if you go on the website here, it says James Madison High School, education on your terms. It says the diploma options. Okay, the good thing about James Madison High School is it's at your own pace. There's no deadlines for anything. If you guys are wondering, I did do research on a lot of different online schools over quarantine. Basically, over the start of quarantine, I started watching a ton of online school videos, and there are some YouTubers, like content creators, that I watch for information. So on that type of stuff, because I was curious. So basically, how I heard of this school was through a YouTuber named I believe her name is Brooklyn Shaw on YouTube. Just look up her channel. Just look up Brooklyn Shaw on YouTube, and she has a lot of different videos on online schooling and stuff. I mean, there's schools like Florida Virtual, K-12, Connections Academy. There's James Madison. So, y'all, the thing about James Madison is there's no deadlines with this school. So let me just go to, like, I don't know, not blog, but like reviews, because I want to see the reviews for myself. Okay, as you guys know, in-person brick and mortar school isn't for everybody, and that's fine. That is perfectly fine. If it's not for you, that's fine. I know that there are people that are struggling in school, that aren't exactly understanding distance learning, or maybe they just, really struggled in school, both physically, academically, emotionally. Like maybe they dealt with a lot of stress in school. I know I did. I was very, 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 very stressed in school. It wasn't just high school. It was like several years before that. It was probably like over a decade, maybe, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, like, people deal with a lot of mental health issues. Like, students can deal with a lot of mental health problems that isn't really focused on in school, which really sucks because mental health is very important. Oh my gosh, how do I read the rest of this if it's not letting me go down and see? So let me just look here. James Madison High School reviews. James Madison High School, or JMHS, reviews, testimonials, and success stories are a great way for you to get information on about the ins and outs of our school. JMHS reviews regularly come to us in the form of letters, emails, social media posts, and videos. The reviews are sent to us by both students and graduates who appreciate the convenience, quality, support, and affordability of our programs. We hope you will have the opportunity to share your JMHS success and leave a special James Madison High School review for us one day soon. So someone here said, the school prepares you for college, and I cannot thank James Madison High School enough for their awesome facility geared to help their students in any way. As excited and proud I am, a JMHS 2019 graduate, I recommend this school to anyone looking to continue their education, though times may be overwhelming. It's well worth it. So, okay, if you guys don't know, online school gets a lot of bad rap. It gets a lot of bad rap, but like people have their reasons for homeschooling. Like, parents have their reasons for enrolling their child in online school. The students have their reasons. As I said, I'm not really for public school or I'm not really for brick and mortar schooling just because not just because of my experience, but well, yeah, my experience, because as I said, mental health is very important to me. I take mental health very, very seriously, and like for some people, their mental health can get so bad that they can't even focus, like they can't focus on their assignments. Like I remember, okay, let me just tell you something. When I was in school, I struggled. I struggled a lot. I was very stressed out. I struggled a lot. I I suffered from extreme stress to the point where I couldn't even get my assignments completed, and I felt really bad. Like I just felt so bad. Like there were days that I would just be sitting in class and wanting to cry my eyes out because I was in so much pain. Like, I literally was not able to get most of my stuff done. I'm still curious on how I was able to graduate. You know, about how I was able to graduate. My senior year was very difficult for me. Um, I mean, it was difficult for a lot of people, but me especially because, as I said, I've dealt with mental health for several years now. I've never learned how to, I've never learned how to handle stressful situations very well in a public school setting because, like, things like deadlines, things like deadlines would stress me out so much. Things like deadlines would stress me out a lot. I'd have a lot of late assignments and, missing assignments. and my grades would suffer. I struggled in certain subjects. Um, yeah, I struggled in specific subjects. Um, I found out that I learned better. I learned better on my own terms, at my own pace, and just being rushed. I mean, I know that like some schools say, "Oh, you can get extra time," but it like didn't help me in a sense. It just made me more stressed out. And mental health is something that isn't always talked about in the public school system, um, or just in the school system in general. Um, because let me tell you, I struggled, and I know a lot of other students. I know a lot of other students can struggle. As I said, it is not for public school isn't for everybody, private school isn't for everybody, and online school isn't for everybody. It depends on the student. It depends on the student and how they learn best. Plus, you should really do your research, as I said. Before deciding, oh, I want to do online school for like high school or middle school or or elementary school. Um, but like do your research, thoroughly do your research. Um, like if you're still a student in school and you're struggling, um, and you're struggling to let's say let's say you are struggling in your classes, no matter how much assistance you ask for or get, and you don't understand certain teaching methods, or maybe your teacher goes too fast, or maybe like tests overwhelm you and you have anxiety and extreme amounts of stress. People who say that students have nothing to be stressed, like kids have nothing to be stressed about, have probably never gone through the amount of stress where it's like, or the amount of um you know stress in school, as a kid, where you can't even move, and where you can't even get your work done. Like, I remember I would have to lay down. I remember I'd have to lay down sometimes, and it sucked. Like, I remember my senior year, high school, it wasn't the best year ever. It got better. It got better once we moved once we switched over to distance learning for my high school at the time. It got better for me. Then I was able to understand things. Um, I had technology at my fingertips. I'm a very tech savvy person, so it didn't really bother me very much. It was actually better for it was actually better for my mental health, and I learned better online as well. Um, just in my opinion, just from my experience, I work better alone. I like being alone. Like, people have said, "Oh, what about social interaction and stuff like that so you don't become introverted?" Well, I mean, I said it depends on the person's personality, their learning style, how they learn, um, the pace that they learn at. Some people learn things very quickly, and okay, some people learn things very quickly and they don't want to wait for like others to catch up with them. Um, and some people learn slower. I feel like I'm more of a person that learns, you know, at a steady pace rather than a quick pace. Um, so let me just tell you, or let me just read these off. The school prepares you for college, and I cannot thank James Madison High School enough for their awesome faculty. I said facility the first time. Faculty geared toward I can't talk. Geared to help their students in any way. I was excited, and yeah, I already read that. I already read that one. Apparently, I can't read the other ones, and then here's another statement. I love the online experience. My schedule was crazy, so I needed more flexibility. I was able to graduate early and start college, and also have a career. I totally recommend James Madison. So yeah, like there are a lot of reasons why people choose online school. Maybe some people, have a work mindset where when they like or like they want to start working early. And if you know what I'm talking about like jobs where you can work from home because typically you can't really get a job. You can't really get a job until you're like 16. Um but that's a typical job. Nowadays a lot of people like working for themselves. Um Nowadays a lot of people like working for themselves and being their own boss. I remember when I was in high school, I got into doing YouTube. I got into doing YouTube when I was in high school, and that took over my life. If you guys are wondering how long I've been doing YouTube for, I've been doing YouTube since 2016, but 2017 was really the year that I took it seriously, and so on and so forth. Like, it got so bad that my grades were slipping. Um, that my grades weren't as good as they were. Um, that I was, that I had to take time off in my senior year to be able to finish my classes and, you know, and graduate. I finished my classes senior year early, by the way, a couple weeks. I was still on track to graduate, so I was fine. But yeah, some people, as I said, some people's learning styles are extremely different than the typical learning style, and some people want to work. Some people want to work. Some people are in sports. And I mean, like, not school sports. I'm talking about like competitive sports. Like, some people are figure skaters. Some people are competitive cheer. Some people are in competitive cheer. Some people, some kids are in competitive cheer. Some kids are theater kids. Um, I should know. I was a theater kid when I was growing up. Yeah, I was a theater kid, and I was, you know, trying to socialize and, have a life. Even though I was very, introverted. Okay, basically, it's not one's fault that they're introverted. Some people choose to be introverted. I chose to be introverted, and I'm fine. But I just don't like public school at all. Um, Coming from or like I don't like brick and mortar school at all. At all. I had a really tough experience that no one should go through. Um, I had a really, really tough experience that probably no one should go through. So I thank the Lord that online school is a thing. So, um, another person said, I chose James Madison because I'm a single parent, traveled a lot with my family, and traveled a lot with my family. I recommend James Madison because if you need extra help from teachers, you can always get the extra help you need. See, like some people need extra help. Um, some people need extra help that a public school can't really give you. Like they may have open times for you to come in at lunch or like at lunch or after school, but like some kids can't stay, some kids can't stay after school. Or just learn some people just learn better at their own pace. Like that's me. Like I'm one of those people that learn better at their own pace and everything. I actually wanted to be in online school when I was a freshman because I knew that public school wasn't always going to be for me. Um, well, not that, but you know what I mean. Like physical school wasn't going to be for me. So another person said, I chose James Madison because of homeschooling. I didn't have distractions like I would at a regular public school. It is a great school, and I like the whole experience of doing it myself, and they are such friendly people. Yeah, like some people like being independent. Some people don't like um being forced to be in situations where they're super stressed out, or maybe you try to explain something to someone and they don't get it. It's not the explainer's fault. Some people just learn differently than others. Some people are a mix of auditory and visual, others are auditory, like strictly auditory, um, or strictly visual learners. Some people learn better through, listening to podcasts. Um, like I know with certain subjects I wasn't very good with like poetry. I remember I was not good with poetry at all in high school. So like listening to podcasts of poetry that I was learning about in school really helped. Um, and I was able to catch on really quickly after a while of, you know, listening to a ton of different podcasts of what I was reading and everything. So now that I've read the majority of reviews, well, there's more there's more reviews, but or the first page. Now that I've gotten through the first page, we're going to watch some of these videos. And if you guys are wondering, they do have a YouTube channel. Um, this is from like 2 years ago. I went to James Madison High School because I wanted to graduate. Okay, so as I said, a lot of people don't like waiting 4 years to graduate. They wanna do school. They want to do school. They want to love school. Okay, some people school isn't the best place to be because they don't enjoy it. Like, they don't enjoy school. It stresses them out. Like I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that some people deal with extreme stress issues. Some people have issues with their mental health. Some people think school isn't the safest place. And I agree. School, for some, isn't always the safest place, or, you know, or it's not always enjoyable. So let me just start this over.
I went to James Madison High School because I wanted to graduate earlier and see if it would help me raise my grades and stuff, and it did. My GPA went up and all my grades went up.
Right. Like, okay. I definitely agree with this because, okay, I agree with this on so many levels because I was one of those students that struggled in school. Struggled to keep my grades up. I had a pretty good, I had pretty decent grades. And then they went downhill. I didn't have the best experience. I just didn't have the best experience in school. People say, oh, school is important, but it's like, not a lot of people learn well in a physical school setting. That is why online school is an option. Online school is always an option for those that, can't handle can't handle regular school. Like, it may stress them out, their grades may be slipping, and it's like not, their grades may be slipping and it's not their fault. I get it. I get it if you're not I get it if you're slacking off and you don't care. Like, I get it if you have that attitude where it's like, school isn't important, I don't like school, But, I feel like not a lot of people are motivated these days to do school, to be in school. Not a lot of people like the school, like the clicky setting, the social setting. Not a lot of people are good in social situations. I know I'm not. I was more of a loner, and I was fine with that. I mean, I had friends, but I was more of a loner in school, which I was okay with. But yeah, mental health is a big issue that is not talked about in school enough, which they should really talk about it. They should really talk about it because it's a serious issue. There are people that don't have the motivation, that don't have the motivation to do school or whatever, or for whatever reason, or they don't learn best in a public school setting for whatever reason. They may be trying as hard as they possibly can, and no matter what they do, they just don't understand something, no matter how many times you ask a teacher, or you know or maybe they work a lot, or maybe they're put in a certain situation where they can't exactly go to school. And you need to do online school, or it's just your choice to do online school, but you have to have valid reasons. You have to have valid reasons to do online school. You can't just say, I'm gonna I'm gonna do online school so I can sleep in, or I'm gonna do online school so that I can, go to the mall every day, or, do whatever every day. It has to be a valid reason. Like, you know, like issues issues with classes, or issues with subjects, or your grade, or your grades. or you're like you're not on track to graduate anymore and you're falling behind, or you're, you know, or you have to repeat a grade or whatever, or you just want to get done with school so that you can start working, or whatever it is that you do, or whatever it is that you want to do. So, yeah, let's continue watching this.
I graduated a year and a half earlier than I would have. I'm currently enrolled in Ashworth College for business, so hopefully,
Good for her.
I can graduate from there too,
Good for
just
her.
like I did James Madison. There was some moments where it got kind of hard and I would shut the computer off and I didn't want to do it, but my family...
Yeah, it's not, okay, as I said, online school is for some people, and online school isn't for some people. Why? Because you have to be self-motivated to do online school. And I mean, okay, so there's a lot of reasons why people may not like brick and mortar schooling. And by brick and mortar schooling, I mean, okay, if you guys don't know what brick and mortar schooling is, brick and mortar schooling is where you physically go to a facility, um, you know, a school, a physical school where you physically are at school for 7 to 8 hours a day. Like, oh my gosh, y'all, did not like I did not like school at all. There were some days I didn't even want to be there. So like some people may fly through school so easily, so quickly. They may get a lot of subjects and a lot of what they're learning from the teacher perfectly, but not everyone's like that. Some people are more slow paced, and I feel like I'm more of a go with the flow kind of person. Go with the flow kind of learner. And yeah, I definitely was a go with the flow kind of learner because I I would spend hours after school doing my homework, sitting there. I'd be frustrated. Some days I'd have like really bad. Some days I'd have really bad days where I'd get really stressed out and I'd get a headache and I wouldn't be able to, physically get anything done. Um, I wouldn't be motivated to do anything. To be honest, the only thing, the only thing that got me through high school, got me through all 4 years of high school was writing, especially YouTube and writing. When I was a junior in high school, I took writing more seriously, and when I was on my lunch breaks, like when I would eat lunch, um, I would either do my work or I would write. And the thing that I loved about distance learning kind of being set up like online school. It's not actual online school. Because you're enrolled with your public school, if you guys didn't know. I will talk about that later. This episode may be longer than average, which is fine. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Like I'm perfectly fine, perfectly okay with that. So I'm gonna check and see. We're at 39 minutes. It's fine.
My friends were like, you need to finish it. You're already doing so well. I could do it on my own time.
Yeah. Like, you can do online school on your own time. Okay. Basically, with distance learning, with distance learning, I will get more into this, but with distance learning, um, it's similar, but it's not the same. And let me tell you why. Um, so with distance learning, you it's set up like a regular it's set up like a regular day. Depends on it depends on basically how the school decides to do things. But I mean, you're still enrolled with you know, you're still enrolled with your high school or your school or whatever in general, and you have to start school at a decent time. Like with me, I would usually start school um at probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8. There were some days I would start at 9, and I would get done with school around 12, you know, around like, past noon or 2 o'clock, depending on what I had to do that day and stuff. And plus, you had packets and assignments that were due daily, or it was assigned to you weeks in advance. And you had to do like a lot of writing. I know for me, I had to do a lot of writing, like a lot of writing, because I had to do a lot of essays. I was in a college course when I was in high school, so I had to do a lot of writing. Um, and I had assignments that were assigned like a couple months in advance. Um, Honestly, I mean, since it was the last few months of high school, I kind of it kind of flew by, and plus how it was a PF system, like, a pass fail system instead of grades, which was how they did it when we switched to distance learning back in March of yeah, back in March of last year. And yeah, it was PRF, which was pass or fail. And I, you know, okay, there was a lot that went down for me in my last year of high school. It was a very confusing year for me. Let me just say that. But I will get more into that later. Still have a lot more to talk about, but let's get through this video
Really.
first.
So that helped me, whenever stuff got hard, I
Mm-hmm.
could really focus. But if I could do stuff earlier, I could. I could just keep on moving with the
Yeah,
classes. I didn't have to wait.
yeah, you could. Yeah, the good thing about James Madison that I love. Okay, I'm not a student. I wasn't a student there, but I've done a lot of research on online schools. Um, like a lot of research on online schools. So, if you guys don't know, like if you guys have never watched a video by a James Madison student, a James Madison high school student, um, okay, basically they're flexible, they don't have deadlines. They're flexible, they don't have deadlines for assignments. Um, they like once you finish your first year, you can move on to the next year. Okay, basically why people graduate early from this school is because like there's no wait times. There's no wait times for classes to open, basically. So you take as many classes as you choose for probably, let's say, your first year. after you sign up or whatever. And once you finish those classes, you can move on to the next year. Or, courses, you can move on to the next year, and then the next year, and then your junior year, and then your senior year, and then you're done. But you have to have motivation, and I will talk about that.
Just continue to get back up and stay motivated and just keep going. It's been great, my experience.
And also you have to go, and also because it's a school based in Georgia, for the graduation ceremony, I'm pretty sure you actually have to go to Georgia to be able to get your diploma. Some diplomas are sent in the mail, others you actually have to get. To get your diploma sleeve, you have to actually go to Georgia and walk across the stage. That's the only thing, really. Other than that, it's all on you. It's all online. It's all at your own pace. There's no deadlines. For some people, it doesn't work to not have deadlines because some people need structure. Others deadlines stress them out. Like me. Deadlines would stress me out, and I'd have late assignments. Or I was one of those students that would hold on to assignments and forget to give it to my teacher, and forget to turn it in. So
has been exciting seeing everyone here that came from all over the world. It's just crazy. I really didn't expect it, and my family being able to be here with me, it's just great.
So there's one video from a student, or from a former student. Man, they need more subscribers. They really deserve more subscribers. They really deserve more subs. Okay. So, and then we're going to... Okay. So, these are all from 2 years ago. But still... These are all from 2 years ago, but still... Or, these are, testimonials. Well, the majority of these are testimonials from students and then from faculty. So let's just hear what the principal has to say.
Hi, I'm Megan Bowen, principal of James Madison High School. I just wanted to take this opportunity to welcome you, to tell you that
So she's the principal, Miss Bowen, or Mrs. Bowen, or Principal Bowen.
We're here to partner with you on your educational journey, and that no matter what your reason for attending James Madison High School is, we're here to support you and help you any way we can. To parents who might be nervous about signing their child up for online high school, I want to let you know that this is what we do. We are the experts in online education. We have support structures in place, and there is really no situation that we haven't run into that we can't help.
And then here's another one. I'm not gonna watch all of them. I'm not gonna watch all of them. I'm just gonna watch a couple. So, and then we have. Oh, and also there's Penn Foster, but I didn't look into Penn Foster yet. I just looked into James Madison and a couple others.
School, and I went all the way through 10th grade, and when I got to 10th grade, I just kind of got sick of the teachers because I was having some issues learning, and they weren't really helping me very well.
Yeah, like, okay, I agree with this too. Sometimes teachers don't always help the student because students learn. There are different ways that a student learns. Like me, for example, I'm auditory and visual, and I'm more of a slow-paced learner. Like, you have to go slow for me to understand something, or I can't keep up with you. Like, I don't really think it matters that you're given more time to do things. Like, it just gets you behind, and yeah, that's. I don't really know what else.
There's just a lot of drama, so I told my mom that I wanted to homeschool, and then I felt like I was kind of missing out a little bit on school, so I went back my 11th grade year and part of my senior year, and it was too much, and I really needed the education to get into college. So I decided to homeschool, and I learned actually a whole heck of a lot more than I did in public school. Any questions I had, all I had to do was call or email a teacher, and they were always there.
Right. But also, the thing is, I mean, yes, they're always there, but sometimes they can't answer you right away, so you're stuck having to find your own solutions to things if they're not always available to you. But other than that, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Told me what I needed to do, how to do it. They're very nice people, so I would highly recommend James Madison to anybody who wanted to try it. Homeschooling, it was a lot easier for me to get a job, and I had a lot more time to do that. I had a lot more time to do things that I needed to get done for school because I could go at my own pace. I plan to go to college and get my core classes at a technical school, and then I hope to go to a university and become a psychiatric nurse.
So yeah, there's a ton of different videos on online school. So let me go back here. Should I watch another one? I don't know. Should I watch another one? I already watched like two. I already watched like two of them. But I don't know. I really don't care how long this episode is. It's not really a video, it's an episode. So I'll just go as long as I want because, well, I'll just go as long as I want to or need to because there's a lot of information. I want to show you guys, and, tell you guys. So, James Madison High School had a four-wheel plan. I can't talk. I am so sorry. I could not talk. So James Madison High School had affordable plans where I could pay monthly instead of having to pay it all at one time. The teachers were wonderful. They always supported me, pushed me, and motivated me. So let me watch this one. And then I think that's going to be the last video that I watch because some of these are on YouTube, others aren't.
Because I was in high school and I got really bad migraines. So I needed an online school. One of my friends did James Madison, and she got all her books sent to her.
Yeah, see, like, some people get really bad headaches to the point where they cannot complete their work. To be honest with you, if I was able to do online school for certain reasons, I would. I definitely would. I wouldn't really care about social interaction, because let me tell you, when you have a headache, like when you are a headache sufferer, a chronic headache sufferer, and tension headaches, which are caused by stress, or migraines, can be very chronic to the point where you can't get your work done. And you have to lay down, and you're not able to get your work done on time or in on time, and you never know when you're going to have an attack. So having that available is having an online school available to you where it's flexible and you can learn on your own terms, and if you get frustrated, you can just come back to it later, after taking a break. Because I know that I dealt with things like eye strain. I'd have throbbing. I don't know what caused it. I think it was due from my headaches, but sometimes I have like decent headaches, and others are pretty unbearable, where I cannot move and where it just hurts to do anything. And I can't focus. I can't, like, you can't focus, you can't concentrate. I feel like some people look over headaches and it's like, oh, everybody gets headaches, but it's like not it's not to the point where you're not able to get your work done. Like, it gets that bad. I remember being in school and just wanting to cry because it was so bad.
And I was like, well, that sounds like a great idea, and I absolutely loved it.
To get help,
if I had a migraine that day,
yeah.
I could do it later in the day, or even in the middle of the night if I couldn't sleep. I could do it whenever I wanted to.
But yeah, like things like migraines or tension headaches, or tension migraine, if that's a thing. I don't know if tension migraine is a thing. Um, like, okay, I don't know if tension migraine is a thing, but I feel like it could be. Because there have been some times where I'd have like attacks, and it would literally feel like a migraine. It would feel like your brain was gonna, or like your head was gonna pop off your body. And it was so bad. Because there were times I'd like get in the car to leave and go home, and it would just hurt so bad to the point where my head felt like it was gonna pop off my body. So yeah, it was bad. Tension migraine. Tension migraine headache. So there are such things as tension migraines. It's called mixed tension migraine, where it's okay. So a mixed tension migraine, according to Healthline, um, according to Healthline, um, what is a mixed tension migraine? Scientists believe that there's a continuum of headaches, with tension headaches at one end and migraine at the other. A mixed tension migraine is a headache that has characteristics of both a tension headache and a migraine headache. They occur more commonly in women than in men. So do tension headaches. Tension headache is caused by muscle tension. It can be brought on by stress. For me, it was brought on by stress. I feel like sometimes I did have mixed tension migraine, but back then I thought I had migraines because it was just so bad. Like when I was younger, I would get them so bad to the point where I wasn't able to do anything. There were times I wouldn't even be able to do my homework at all. Like, at all. I'm not even joking. Like, I had to do a lot of things to control them. Despite taking so many naps a day. Like, obviously, taking medicine and taking naps and eating food. Because, like, okay, there's a lot of triggers for some people. Like, for me, it's stress for the most part. For me, it's stress. Lady problems, or, like, lady problems, stress, like, stress more commonly, because I would get stressed a lot, like, during midterms, finals, you name it. I would get pretty stressed, and it would get bad. Or forgetting to eat food. Like, I would eat so many snacks in school. Not because I wanted to, but because I needed to. I do feel like I did have mixed tension migraine, but for many years, I thought it was migraine. And I had to go to the doctor, like, several times for it, so. Pain-producing inflammatory substances surrounding blood vessels and nerves in the brain are thought to cause migraines. Millions of people worldwide experience regular migraine headaches, which really suck. Let me tell you, like, I'd have freaking attacks every couple of months that would last for like a month or 2 months or more than that, and it was bad. Like, there were times that people that doctors thought I needed an MRI. Doctors told me to keep a log of my attacks. My headache attacks. Like, they get really bad. Like, I'd lay on, I'd lay my head down and I'd start crying, and people and teachers were always like, do you need to, do you need to go to the office? And I was like, no, they're not gonna know what to do. So, hold on, I'll have to pause this for a sec. I'll have to pause this for a sec because I have to respond to something, but I'll be back. Okay. As I said, there's a lot of reasons why people would do online school, and health is one of them. Like, headaches count. headaches count as a health issue. Headaches count as a medical condition. Stress counts, if especially if you get headaches that are brought on by stress, or you have a mix of like tension migraine. For several years I thought I had migraines, and I found out that they were tension headaches, but sometimes I can get tension migraines. It depends. So, yeah, and that makes school literally impossible to do.
I just wanted to get it done, because I needed it done. I could get it done faster with James Madison. My teachers were constantly emailing me. If I would fail something, they would email me and say, hey, I saw you missed that. Do you need help? Even if you're just terrible at school,
Right.
Because I've had friends that they just don't like school. But, you still have to do it. They will help you. If you call, the number, they're going to answer and they're going to help you with whatever question that you have.
Right.
And they'll get you.
Like, you can call them, you can email them, so, yeah, like, brick and mortar isn't the only option. Brick and mortar can't always be the best option. I know that when I would get attacks, like, okay, as I said, sometimes my episodes would last a couple weeks to a month of daily headaches, and it was really bad. Like, I remember, so basically it can basically come on at any time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. A migraine can come on at any time. It doesn't matter. A tension headache can come on at any time. A tension migraine can come on at any time. And for some people, last for weeks to a month to 2 months. It doesn't matter. And when you're having those episodes where your eyeballs are throbbing, like some people when they have headaches so close to your eyes, or so near your eyes that you start having throbbing pain in the back of your eye. It doesn't affect your vision. But it's like really painful, and like it's usually felt in the middle of your forehead, in the middle of your face, in the middle of your forehead, in the middle of your face, and it travels behind your eyes, and then you just start having eye pain. I remember I was asked whenever I started having like throbbing as a symptom if it was affecting my vision, and I would always say no, but it would hurt. So yeah, like, you're not able to concentrate. You're not able to do anything. I know some people have their doubts about online school, and others are like, oh, you need social interaction. Well, for some people who have terrible migraines or headaches or other health issues or something like that, they are not in the mood to talk to anybody. Let me tell you, they are not in the mood to talk to anyone. I remember when I would have attacks, they would last for weeks to a month or longer than that. I remember I'd have attacks that started in freaking August. Okay, so basically, sometimes my attacks would start in August or whatever month and go to probably November or December or whenever, But yeah, it's debilitating when you have an episode come on and stuff. So let me
get through it. My family's here, and I'm so excited because it's just been such a long road and just a great thing. You know, everyone's just really excited and ready for the next step.
But yeah, like with school, like for some people, you don't want to be sitting there. Let me tell you, you don't want to be sitting there when you have attacks come on. You don't want to be sitting in a classroom when you have attacks come on and have to like raise your hand or like raise your hand or have to move all the time. And for some people, their attacks get so bad. I know for me, my attacks would get so bad that I was not able to move my head whatsoever. Like no matter what I did, I could not move my head. Like if it got so awful, I would not be able to move my head at all. When I was a senior in high school, this occurred, and I was so over it. I was so over it to the point where I had to get up, and I was like I had to get up, and I was all, okay, I'm done. Like I'm done. I can't do this. Like I'm done. I can't do this. Like it's not that I was complaining. Okay, when you have tags, it's not that you're complaining. That you have so much work to do. It's that you can't do it. Like you physically cannot do it at all. No matter how many times, no matter like how many times or like how you try to explain it to people, like it's really hard to explain things like that to people where it's like, I I suffer from da 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 da, and whenever I have attacks, I physically cannot get my assignments done and I can't focus. And it's like really hard because some people may be like, oh, I have headaches too, and it's like not to that extent. Because when you have headaches and migraines, and like when you suffer from stress to the point where you have tension headaches or mixed tension migraine, or when you're like in elementary school at probably, I don't know, a really young age. I know it happened to me at a young age. It occurred to me at a super young age. Would I ever want someone to go through that? No. No, I wouldn't. So, yeah. So, I'm gonna turn that off. And I'm gonna continue talking. So, as I said, there's a lot of reasons why people choose online school. Maybe they learn better. Maybe they learn better in online school. Maybe, um, maybe they suffer from stress that causes them headaches, or maybe they've been a long time sufferer of headaches, which literally really sucks because when I was watching that video of that former student, um, saying that she suffered from migraine, or that she suffered from debilitating migraines, I felt for her because I, you know, I suffer from debilitating headaches too. That are so bad. Like they are so bad. I had to start sleeping to reduce my chances of a headache. Does it help? Does it help? I'd say yes, it does. But like, if you're having issues like that, where you're having headaches or migraines, where you're having migraines or tension headache or just like a long time suffer of that, like, tell somebody so that they can take tell someone so that they can take you to see a medical professional and so that you can get diagnosed, because you don't want to self-diagnose yourself. I know that even though I had headaches for or that I've had headaches for the majority of my life, since I was in school, I wouldn't want to self-diagnose myself because I thought I had one thing when I had another thing. And I wouldn't want to self-diagnose myself because I wouldn't want to be wrong. So yeah, if you're having issues, if you're having those types of problems, go to a medical professional and get diagnosed, because it may save your life. Basically, it'll save you a lot of stress. Does stress go away? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But there are ways to manage stress. Me personally, I don't always know how to manage my stress very well, which is very good, honestly. But so, enough of that reason. But as I said, that could be a key reason why somebody chooses to do online school, because they can't focus on what they're doing. Like, they can't focus, they can't learn efficiently on what they're doing. Like, oh my gosh, it was like I felt for that girl. I literally felt for that girl because I had gone through it too, where I'd have episodes and it would be so bad that I wouldn't be able to focus or concentrate or even do my work. It just hit home. It hit home for me. So now let's talk about distance learning and the difference from it actually is from online school. So similarities of distance learning and online school. Similarities are, obviously it's online and you're at home in your home, obviously, but that's where it ends. With distance learning, for some schools, it depends on how it is set up nowadays. Distance learning is not online school. Distance learning is school from a distance. So, teachers could be teaching from home, or they could be, in the classroom teaching while students are at home, or it could be a mix of both, where it's like hybrid, where you go and you have some students there and others are at home learning. But for some, you have to be logged in at a certain time. You go by their schedule. You go by the school schedule. You're still enrolled with your school that you went to or that you attended, but it's at home. With me, like, I mean, it's different. Like, I mean, I was in high school, so it was different. It was different. I was fine with it, honestly, because it helped me. It helped me really because I didn't know, like, I didn't know if I was gonna have a good day or a bad day. Like, meaning, I didn't know if I was gonna have an attack that day, or I didn't know, you know, I didn't know how I'd be feeling. I didn't know if I would have a stress-free day, or I would have a stressful day. But when it came on, it came on bad. Like, let me tell you, when it came on bad. So I was like, thank gosh we moved to online, because I would have probably flunked. Let me tell you, I would have probably flunked if we didn't move to distance. It worked for me. It doesn't work for everybody. Now, if distance doesn't work for you, you can always switch to online school. You can always switch to online school. But yeah, like, online school probably would have been a good option for me. But I did distance learning and not actual online school, so I mean, it was kind of set up like online school, but it wasn't. So yeah, with distance learning, you're you have to log in at a certain time. It's kind of set up like public school is. And it also depends on what the school's doing, or like how a school grades, or like, how teachers grade things. Like for me, it was, I guess for my school, it was a pass or fails type of thing. And basically, if I finished a class, if I finished all my coursework for a class, I would usually ask, I would usually ask, or ask, the question of, like, do I have any more, assignments for this class, or am I done? And my teachers would either say, oh, you're done, or you have more assignments for this class. And so the first class I got through was my math class. It didn't really bother me doing math online at all. It didn't really bug me in the slightest. I actually really liked it, and to be honest, it took quite a while for me to get into a class I actually enjoyed, because I wasn't all that great at math. Like, okay, I'm good at certain types of math, but I'm not good at every type of math. And money math was perfect for me. So, like, consumer math, having to deal with money and learning about checks and taxes and proper spending habits, like just money math. Strictly money math was a math I understood completely, and I actually really liked it. So that was the first class I got through. And then I did, then I did my other classes, and the last class I had to do was, or the last class I had to finish was English. And that day in spring, in early May, at probably, I don't know, it was probably roughly 1 in the afternoon, I was able to finish my last assignment and, be done with all my classes. For senior year. And I had the rest of the time and I have the rest of the time to myself. And when I had breaks, I would usually be writing a lot. As I said, it got me through high school. I loved writing. It distressed me, or it was a good stress reliever because, as I said, I don't do stress well. So writing for me was a good stress reliever and something that I needed. So I was able to get through my classes. At a decent rate, or at a good rate, where I was still able to finish my classes early and graduate on time. And then I was able to do the things I wanted to do afterwards, like come back to work and things like that. So yeah, that's a good thing. So yeah, the thing with distance learning that people get confused with online schooling is, oh, it's just like online school, and it's like, no, it's not. It may be similar to it, but it's not. With distance learning, it's like you have to be logged in at a certain time. You have to get your assignments done within a certain timely manner. You have deadlines. Well, some schools have deadlines, some schools don't. It depends. And also there are some online schools that are set up like public schools, so that you'd have to log in. You'd have to log in at probably, I don't know, like 8 in the morning, and you'd finish at 2 or 3. Man, it's been ages since I had that type of schedule where you had to go to school, or where school started at 8 o'clock in the morning and went till like 3 o'clock. It's been ages. By the time I got to middle school, I was, I was doing public school. I had to play catch up because of what I learned in my previous school. So, yeah. It was a bit of a struggle, but I got through it. And eighth grade was a struggle too. Like, looking back on it, it seemed like an easy year, but not really, because then I remember, the dreaded constitution test that a lot of teachers would say, oh, you have to take that in high school too. And it's like, not every high school requires it. Like, I know my high school didn't. Require it, so I was good. Plus, like, exit exams. I don't even know a school that still does an exit exam. I don't think schools do that anymore. So I don't know what school still does exit exams and constitution tests. So Okay, so basically, some online schools have a strict schedule that's set up like public school, but some schools are like online tuition free public schools, which is probably why it's set up like that. And they have like strict deadlines for things. um they start at probably like, I don't know, 8. They probably start at 8 in the morning and end at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. um Obviously leaving breaks for lunch. um but in some cases you want in some cases you may want a flexible schedule. I mean, only public school is flexible, but not as flexible as you may think it is. Um, because like you still have deadlines. Um, they still, like, depending on what school it is, they still do it like a strict school schedule. Some schools start earlier than 8. Some schools start at 7:20 or 7:25, and at 2:20 or whatever time it is. I know when I was in school, I wasn't used to like being up so early. Well, I was, but I had to like switch my I had to pretty much switch everything around. Like, there were times I'd wake up at 6, and there were times I'd wake up at 5. Like, I went from waking up at 6 to waking up at 5:45 to waking up at 5:30. Um, to get to the bus on time, to make it to the bus on time and make it to school on time. And sometimes, people would be running late. And I just honestly wouldn't want to do all that extra stuff of having to actually, you know, drive to school, having to actually drive to school, wait for the gates to open, um, you know, have to deal with passing periods. Um, they don't give you quite a lot of time for passing periods either, like, which is probably another reason why some people don't like public school. It's not a very well, it could be important if you're one of those people that just wants to get school out of the way. Um, like me, for example. That's kind of like how I was. I just wanted to, you know, get done with school and go home. Like, I did not like being at school. I tolerated school. Tolerated school wasn't my favorite place ever. I didn't enjoy it either because sometimes I'd be super stressed, and yeah, that wasn't a good time. So yeah, some schools are flexible. Some schools have very flexible schedules. Um, well, some online schools have very flexible schedules. There's a ton of different types of online school, like charter, online private school, um, and online public school. There's, like James Madison, high. There's James Madison High School. Um, there's a ton of different schools. There's Acellus. There's K-12 Connections Academy. A ton of different schools. You just have to look and see what school is best for you. And just know that online school isn't for everybody. Like you have to be self-disciplined, self-motivated. When you're in online school, you don't have a set schedule, so you have to make your own schedule. Okay, as I said, with online school, there's not a lot of structure. And by structure, I mean, like a strict schedule to go by. Basically, with public school, there's, a bell schedule, there's your class schedule, there's a class schedule with like all your classes. And I mean, there's a class schedule for your classes as well if you do online, but it's not as structured as public school is. So if you like structure and deadlines and things, there are public schools or there are online public schools with that in mind, and with others like James Madison or Acellus or whatever high school it is that you choose, or whatever school it is that you choose. It's at your own pace, on your own terms, on your own time. So you have to be self-motivated. You have to be self-motivated. You have to like make your own schedule. Um, you have to stay on top. You have to stay on top of your work. You can't just be like, I'm not gonna do school today. I don't feel like school today. You can't just like put school off. You still have to do school. And also, I think that um, things were due at like things were due at the end of the week, and by the end of the week, I mean the weekend. Um, but yeah, it depends on what school you choose. But yeah, definitely do your research before deciding to do online school and see if it's the best fit for you. So yeah, that was a little bit on like that was a little bit on James Madison. As I said, I wasn't a student there, which I was, but I wasn't. Um, but probably in the next episode, I'm gonna do more research on more schools because, yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said this is going to deal with, like, these next couple of episodes are gonna deal with online school. So, yeah, in the next episode, I'm gonna, talk to you guys about more online school options, and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like I'm pro online. I'm just pro online school because it works better for a lot of people, not just me in general. Like, not just me, but for a lot of other people. Um, Especially in times like these where, well, oh my gosh, I just want Australian these. Especially in times like this where you know, you aren't sure when you're returning to school, um, or like if you don't want to do distance learning, you don't have to. You know, there's always online school, always. You know, there's always different options like online school, homeschool, unschooling. You know, like if distance learning isn't for you, then if distance learning isn't for you, there's a bunch of options. Um, so yeah, I hope you guys found this episode helpful. And yeah, with that said, I'm gonna go, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and please subscribe if you're listening and watching this on YouTube. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. And yeah, with that said, I'm gonna go, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And goodbye, guys.